Hello everyone, back into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. So day 10 will take us around the 18th of January, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extend GFS and ECM ensembles. Have a look at SSW for February at the end of the video. GMA Friday has been released. It's back after its Christmas and New Year layoff. So yeah, have a look at GMA Friday if you would like to do that. And yeah, we've got quite an interesting trend going on with JMA and CFS models. Looks like the first half of January cold, second half of January milder, but we should wait and see what happens. So check out JMA Friday if you would like to do that. The ECW 42-day forecast is coming up later on today, so that'll be coming around 6ish, I think, this evening, looking at weather next 6 weeks for UK and Ireland, and then going to be live streaming after 10 o'clock, so Friday night, GFS ATZ, aka Pub Run, live stream, returns tonight, and that will be with you, as I say, after 10. Right, going to begin this video looking at everything stratosphere-wise. So, of course, we had the sun stratospheric warming a few days ago. We went up to around minus 20 at 850 HPA from around minus 70. So a proper old lift up in temperature took place a few days ago. We can't maintain the temperatures at that level all that long, so temperatures are dropping now, reducing down to around minus 35, something like that. And that'll probably continue to drop a little bit further over the coming few days. That's 10 HPA in the top of the stratosphere. If we go a little bit lower down to 30 HPA, which is closer to the troposphere, we see we also had a major warming of the stratosphere there, lifted up to very close to minus 40. Now these begin to drop a little bit now. As well, and of course we are now waiting to see what, if any, sort of tropospheric response we might get to that stratospheric warming. Zonal winds did go into reverse. We have had a this is from the ECM by University of Berlin, by the way. We have had a reversal of zonal winds at both 10 and also 30 HPA. They have both gone down to this zero line just here. So yeah, I mean, reversal of zonal winds following sun traffic warming. We are now waiting to see what, if any, tropospheric response we get to that stratospheric warming. This is how temperatures are currently looking, and our forecast to develop over the next couple of weeks from the GFS model via meteoseal.fr. So we've got these blue colours. These are the cold temperatures at 10 HPA. As we run through, we see temperatures are going to reduce further over the coming days, although another little warming takes place, or tries to, over Siberia in around 6, 7, 8 days time. As we go into the more extended range, we actually find a sudden stratospheric warming beginning to take place over Siberia on this GFS run around day 10. This is for the 18th of January. You see we've got the red colours reappearing again over the in the stratosphere over Siberia this time. And that major warming of the stratosphere just continues, really, it just continues to get stronger and stronger as we run through to the end of the GFS run. This gets us to 24th of January, and you see how this sun stratospheric warming is increasingly heading in towards the North Pole and the Arctic from Siberia in the stratosphere. So I mean, developments in the stratosphere this winter have been very, very interesting so far. They remain very interesting. There's going to be a lot to keep an eye on as we go further on through January. And I mean, two sun stratospheric warmings in January or within a winter, very, very unusual. And that's actually like a third warming, isn't it? So we've had the first warming, then we get this second warming just here, and then as that sort of levels off a little bit around there and then picks up again, I suppose that would be like a third warming, wouldn't it? But very unusual developments stratosphere wise. You have to think at some point we're going to see an end to these blue colours. You have to think that at some point one of these warmings are going to lead to like the complete obliteration of the polar vortex at its roots in the stratosphere. It means blue colours will completely disappear if this carries on. So we just got to wait and see. We just got to wait and see what happens in the stratosphere. But all looking very, very interesting stratosphere-wise. This is from the ECMWF forecast. So the current position is, again, from University of Berlin, current position shows that temperatures are beginning to cool down in the stratosphere at 10 HPA today. Helpfully, the North Pole itself is highlighted there by the black X. Now, as we go on into day 10, which gets us to 17th of January, you can see that the ECM is also picking up on this next very significant warming, sudden stratospheric warming, occurring over Siberia around the 17th of January. We're lifting the temperature into those deep red colours on the scales. So another very, very major sudden stratospheric warming. Looks like it's going to take place in around sort of days 8, 9 and 10. And then at, so yeah, that's it. I think that's it for the ECM data. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, another very significant and major warming of the stratosphere is going to take place. By the look of it, if we believe both GFS and the ECM, they're going in the same direction, which is to produce another sudden stratospheric warming in around days 8, 9 and 10 over Siberia. And again, that's going to try and push its way into the Arctic. And will that one lead to the complete obliteration of the polar vortex at its roots in the troposphere? We shall see. We'll be keeping a very, very close eye on all the developments stratosphere-wise in the coming days. Right, these are how the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking for the next couple of weeks. We're looking at Carterton today, which is another suggested location for this part of the video. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Carterton. You see that we are continuing to be colder than average at the moment. We're going to find the temperature lifting up as we go into the early part of next week. It will become milder, but we have a lot of scatter here from a relatively early period, around the 12th, 13th, 14th of January even. We've got like these mild ensemble members up here, we've got these colder ones down here, and then the scatter just grows really as we go through the second half of January. This is probably a bit indicative of this sudden stratospheric warming and the models playing around with various scenarios that could result from the sudden stratospheric warming. So we've got plenty of mild ensemble members up here, we've got cold ensemble members down there, and there is so much scatter really that it's very difficult to ascertain what will be happening over the sort of weeks or during the week 8 to 14 or 15 time frame, which is like that period just there. Very, very difficult to ascertain what's going to happen there. But precipitation wise, we can say for the next few days, while it's going to be cold, it's going to be relatively dry, and then the precipitation is going to come back next week. So as it turns milder, it will turn wetter as well. And then it's the second half of January, just looking generally quite unsettled. But again, with some of these ensemble members looking mild, some of that will be rain, some of the ensemble members looking cold. Some of those precipitation spikes could be snow. Temperature anomalies from the 8th to the 16th of January continue to be colder than average. Notice much of Europe now is getting colder as well. So these cold and average temperatures are going to be pushed over towards the eastern side of Europe, I think, increasingly through the course next week, as it probably starts to turn a little bit milder in the west and the northwest. But our temperature anomaly in the UK and for Ireland too is a little bit colder than average in the week ahead. Precipitation anomalies from the 8th to 16th of January, more or less dry than average through most parts of England, Wales and Ireland, although Scotland does look a little bit closer to average. Latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net is looking cold, with winds remaining from a northerly or northeasterly direction. So how the UK Met is looking for Monday then. High pressure begin to slip southwards, and we start to introduce some milder airflow from off the Atlantic. So Monday we'll see a bit of a pickup in temperatures, particularly for northern and western parts of the country. Then a cold front then moves southwards later on Monday into Tuesday, and that starts to reintroduce colder air into the north. The cold air is not going to be all that far away, I have to say. You'll see this as we go through these charts. But the cold air is always going to be very close to us, waiting for its chance to come back. So this is not like a definitive breakdown to zonality, but it's going to sweep away all of the cold air and push westerlies, right way into Russia. It's going to be a very, very different pattern to that, with cold air always lurking very close to us. This is Wednesday. Again, mild air is trying to come in from off the Atlantic. We've got a big, massive cold air sitting just to our northeast, and the weather is really struggling. The weather is really struggling with trying to introduce these milder west-southwest. In fact, there could even be some snow through the middle part of next week as this milder air tries to come in from off the Atlantic and bumps into the cold air sitting over the country. By the time we get through to Thursday, far as we go with the UK Met, Thursday the 14th of January, we are pushing for a westerly bend, but it's a relatively chilly westerly with the air originating from the far northern Atlantic, and we never get rid of this big wedge of very cold air that's sitting over Scandinavia. Any high pressure that might get going over Scandinavia could start to push this very cold air westwards again. GFS 6Z looks like that. So again, on Monday, we're just beginning to turn things a little bit milder, especially in the northern part of the country. By Tuesday, we're back into these cold northerly winds again. Then we've got westerlies trying to move in from off the Atlantic on Wednesday, but England and Wales probably cold and frosty. And then sort of it goes into a very strange and quite bizarre pattern as into the second half of next week, where it's neither really with high pressure or low pressure, to be honest. So I think it goes off on a little bit of a tangent, GFS 6 there, but we finish up at day 10, pulling back in another pretty cold northerly wind once again. So as we go up to like the 19th of January, we've got high pressure out to our west, and we're pulling in quite a chilly, if not quite cold, north to northeasterly wind once again. Beyond that, in more extended range, the high pressure then begins to slip down to southwest, and we start to introduce like a definitive westerly type flow. The GFS 6F was very, very strange today. GEM looks like this. So high pressure begins to slip southwards on Monday. We're starting to pull in a slightly less cold, I suppose, westerly, but we go back into northerlies again on Tuesday. Then this ridge builds across the country from Tuesday into Wednesday. That's within quite cold air. And then this weather system starts coming in from off the Atlantic from Wednesday through to Thursday. Now, again, this is coming into cold air, and it is struggling. The mild push from the Atlantic is struggling to get rid of the cold air that's sitting over the country. This looks like it will probably produce a snow event for northern and eastern parts of the country. See the elongation in the isobars there. That tells us that the weather front, as it's come in from the Atlantic, trying to introduce both mild westerly Atlantic winds, has actually stalled across the country. Probably an area of low pressure, triple point low, is developing and running along the weather front as well. So when you get these elongations, these kinks in the isobars just here, that tells you that the front is kind of stalling. So that probably sometime the second half of next week on the GM is like a snow event for northern and eastern parts of the country. Actually, the weather front and its low pressure that develops along that front sort of slips away into France as we get through to Saturday 16th, which starts to pull back in a cold easterly wind again. So I'm not sure that the GM ever really gets it milder, actually, for northern and eastern parts of the country. It probably stays cold pretty much all next week in the north and the east. I think the mild air does get into the west and the southwest for a while before it gets pushed away again by the weekend of 16th, 17th of January. By the end of the GM run, we're under high pressure, so it's probably going to be mostly dry and will be frosty. Notice heights are rising again over Greenland. And then the ECM looks like that. So high pressure again is slipping southwards on Monday, turning a little bit less cold, but go back into northern winds on Tuesday. Then we've got this ridge through the country within probably quite cold air on Wednesday. Again, all going very, very messy. There's fronts trying to come in from off the Atlantic, but they're struggling as we have this wedge of cold air sitting to our east and north. And of course, we're trying to bring in the mild air from the south and the west, and we've got lots of elongations in the isobars. So like there's a kink there, there's another one up there, there's some sort of feature there as well. It looks really, really messy, and not a definitive push of westerlies from off the Atlantic at all. And eventually what the ECM does, it starts to build up high pressure towards Scandinavia. We've got a deep cold pull, of course, sitting across eastern parts of Europe. So as it gets towards day 10, it is beginning to get very interesting. This low pressure is trying to come in from off the Atlantic into this block of cold air. And the low pressure down to the southwest eventually pulls the wind round to the east. And that's probably some sort of snow event going on there across southwestern parts of the country. You look at the upper air temperatures, you see we're pulling back those cold winds from the continent. So that looks very snowy. ECM looks very snowy, I think, by the time we get through to day 10, actually. This is a precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. So, of course, got some snow around today across northern England and also into Wales and the North Midlands as well. That's going to fizzle out in the next few hours. By the end of the weekend into next week, milder air is coming in from off the Atlantic and we're going back towards rain. But then we start to set up this sort of battle through the middle part of next week. So we do get some more snow through northern England and Scotland through the middle part of next week. Bit of a snow event going on there. And then all of the rain sort of slips away to the south. And we start to go back into colder air once again. And then, of course, we set up that very, very interesting, tantalising pattern of a deep low pressure down to our southwest, swinging the winds into the east. And so we get this big snow event then taking place around day 10 from Ireland through Wales to southwestern England and trying to push in towards the Midlands. That's a proper old snow event there. If that came off, that would be a dumping of snow through many southern and western parts of the country. How very interesting is the ECM at day 10. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 18th of January. We have 21 members of the ECM ensemble showing blocking to our north and northwest and still pulling in cold winds from the east and the northeast. 17, including the control room. Probably similar to what the GFS 6Z is showing, with just like a ridge that's covering most of northern Europe and the North Atlantic. So very strange with those 17. And then 13 with high pressure again up towards Greenland, extending down into the middle of the North Atlantic. Low pressure is to our east and winds would again be coming in from a north or a northeasterly direction. That does include the operational run as well, so that one could be cold as well. So I mean, if you like put the 21 there together with the 13 there, the ECM ensembles are favouring a continuation of cold weather, or a return of cold weather perhaps, by day 10. This one is probably a milder option, but that was anticyclonic, so even that one could be frosty. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got, so let's just have a quick look at these. So in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This is going to get us to the 23rd of January. Have 20 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure around Greenland, low pressure over and to the east of the country. So that could be a little bit milder from the Atlantic, but it is probably trying to pull cold air in from the north, actually. 17, definitively cold, high pressure out to our northwest, low pressure to our east. That, of course, will be bringing in cold northerly or northeast winds. And then 14 with a mid-Atlantic ridge to our west, low pressure to the east, and winds are in from the north with that one. Lastly, just have a look at Cephas V2 for February. So this 700 millibar height only from Cephas V2 for February, showing low pressure out to our west, high pressure is to our south, and also to our east as well. So that's, if it comes off, that's going to be mild. But look at all of the blocking that's within the northern latitude. Look at all these red colours within the northern latitudes. So Ibn Model has got things wrong there, particularly in terms of the strength of this ridge. Just here, if it's overdoing that ridge, then like with the northern blocking, all of this red up here, then February could also end up, quite a cold month. But as it is, with low pressure to our west, high pressure to our south and east and north, we finish up actually with a very mild month. Then again, the CFS was also forecasting a very mild January. We haven't had that yet. So very mild February is being forecast by CFS V2 and no particular signal for precipitation, as always. Right, that's it then. So, I mean, it remains an interesting outlook, does it? So much to keep an eye on. The primary thing to keep an eye on initially is what's happening next week, as it's trying to get milder. It's not a straightforward push of mild air from off the Atlantic. So we do perhaps have potential for some fun and games next week. We may see things going colder definitively for all areas. If it gets milder next week, we may see things going colder again for all areas by day 10. And then, of course, the stratosphere remains like the really interesting point about this winter. What's going on there? We've already had a sun stratospheric warming and a reversal of zonal westerlies. It looks like we're going to get another very significant sun stratospheric warming around day 10 over Siberia. Will that get into the Arctic? Will that reverse zonal winds again? And it's a winter that's already had blocking, and so much is going on at the moment, so much to keep an eye on. And I would say, you know, just keep watching, keep watching, and we'll see together how it's all going to play out. It's very, very interesting, interesting winter. This one's so different to last winter and the polar vortex of doom. They're like chalk and cheese. Right, that's it then for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please can you click like, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to tell your friends about GWV as well. We've recently hit 9,300 subscribers, so we're 300 down, 700 to go to get to 10k subs. I think we might do this before the end of winter. So yeah, please subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, tell your family to subscribe, tell everybody to subscribe, and we're going to get to 10k as quickly as we possibly can. I'm going to be back later on with another video. That will be the ECMWF 42-day look ahead, 6-week forecast from the ECM. That's back after Christmas and New Year layout, and then we'll be live streaming after 10 o'clock tonight. For this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.